Kamala Harris is calling for round two after she and former President Donald Trump faced off in their first presidential debate. Harris commanded the stage, flashing her prosecutorial skills to control the conversation and get under the former president's skin. The two disagreed on some of the nation's top issues like the economy, immigration, and abortion access as they tried to win over the remaining undecided voters. And of course, we have team coverage from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh for you. Let's begin with CBS News correspondent Jared Hill, who is in Philly. Jared, good morning.
Good morning, Anne-Marie. Both of these teams, Harris and Trump, are saying that their side won the debate last night, but even some Trump allies are saying that Harris came to play.
What's up, good debate?
A handshake kicked off the first meeting between former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris. But the 90-minute debate soon turned into a sparring match over issues like the economy.
I imagine and have actually a plan to build what I call an opportunity economy.
I had no inflation, virtually no inflation. They had the highest inflation.
Abortion.
For years, they wanted to get it out of Congress and out of the federal government. And we did something that everybody said couldn't be done.
The government, and Donald Trump certainly, should not be telling a woman what to do with her body.
And immigration.
They've destroyed the fabric of our country. Millions of people let in.
What we have in the former president is someone who would prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
The former president even spreading misinformation about migrants in Ohio.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats.
Harris to President Joe Biden, who dropped out of the race in July.
She is Biden. You know, she's trying to get away from Biden.
I am not Joe Biden, and I am certainly not Donald Trump. And what I do offer is a new generation of leadership for our country.
Both candidates continued to make their case after the debate. Vice President Harris greeting supporters at an event here in Philadelphia, while former President Trump claimed victory in the spin room with reporters.
This was my best debate. I thought it was very good.
This is very much two different visions for our country.
Both campaigns taking a pause today to mark 23 years since the September 11th attacks are back in the swing states tomorrow. Now, these two candidates don't have anything scheduled when it comes to another debate, but we do know the Harris team has said that they would like to see former President Trump on the debate stage again. The former president saying that's something that he would consider last night. Meanwhile, we know that their vice presidential candidates will be going head-to-head on October 1st in a debate on CBS. Back to you.
All right, Jared, thank you very much. All right, Robert Costa is also there in Philadelphia with some more analysis of the debate. Really good to see you, Robert. Just really quickly, you know there was a lot of back and forth about the rules of this debate. How did the moderators and the candidates handle things?
It's great to be with you from my home city, my home area of Philadelphia. It depends on whom you ask about last night's debate. It was moderated by ABC News, and there was no explicit rule about when the moderators would step in with a fact check. For the moderators, it was often about their own gut instincts about what was the right time to offer some feedback very quickly to one of the respective candidates on stage. Evidently, based on the social media response and my conversations with the Trump campaign last night, there is some unhappiness among Republicans about how this debate unfolded. They believe, as former President Trump was put in the spin room last night, that it was 3-on-1 in terms of two moderators and Vice President Harris against him. Vice President Harris and her allies, however, in the spin room and in conversations with me, say this was a fair debate and that any kind of complaint about the moderators or the format doesn't fit exactly what happened.
All right, so let's get into some of what we heard. Of course, the former president likes to talk about the economy. Part of the reason is because he does fairly well in the polls when asked about which candidate would do better with the economy. He talked a little bit about those poll numbers. I want to play some sound.
The people of our country are absolutely dying with what they've done. They've destroyed the economy. And all you have to do is look at a poll. The polls say 80 and 85 and even 90% that the Trump economy was great, that their economy was terrible.
My plan is to give a $50,000 tax deduction to startup small businesses, knowing they are part of the backbone of America's economy. My opponent, on the other hand, his plan is to do what he has done before, which is to provide a tax cut for billionaires and big corporations, which will result in $5 trillion to America's deficit.
So, Robert, I'm not so sure about those poll numbers, but Robert, this was an opportunity for Kamala Harris to really kind of define her economic strategy, let the country know how she would be different than Biden and what she planned on doing. Was she successful?
It's going to depend on how voters see this. One of the things I've always noticed about debates as a reporter is sometimes the reviews from Washington, from the press corps, from political pundits will say one thing, but ultimately it's about what voters believe and how they interpret what happened last night at the debate. And some of the factors that are factored into this campaign are not about the debate at all. It's about economic pain that's been long-lasting for many Americans, and former President Trump and his campaign believe they can capitalize on how people feel about the economy, about the border, to win this election, irrespective of what happened at the debate. Meanwhile, Vice President Harris believes that she can cast herself as something new, a fresh candidate, even though she's part of the incumbent administration that is associated with some voters with that inflationary and economic pain.
So the other topic that the former president and Republicans have been sort of hammering the Biden administration about has been immigration. Donald Trump kind of went back to immigration over and over again, whether he was asked about the topic or not. And Kamala Harris kind of brought up or accused the former president of killing an immigration bill that a lot of Republicans actually supported. I want to play some of that sound.
That bill would have put more resources to allow us to prosecute transnational criminal organizations for trafficking in guns, drugs, and human beings. But you know what happened to that bill? Donald Trump got on the phone, called up some folks in Congress, and said, kill the bill. And you know why? Because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
So, Donald Trump didn't say, no, I didn't, or anything along those lines. In fact, he sort of went, some people described it.